All right, guys. So welcome to this commentary and analysis of Batman Forever. And I'm not saying this lightly. Uh, this is I don't. I actually I've said before. I actually like this movie. I think it's a very different take on Batman. I think it's a much more, of course, commercial take. But is it a bad take? I agree it isn't. For all the criticism from Joe Schumacher, of course, let's just settle this right now. Batman and Robin is pure garbage. Of course, of course. But Batman Forever has um, really some of the best things uh, we could have in a Batman movie. It doesn't. Uh, I'm trying to say to express this well. It's not comparable to Tim Burton, but we're not here to compare it to Tim Burton. We're here to judge it as alone and as a whole, and in the reality of circumstances that made this project be born. So we were looking at the Warner Brothers that were hurt by Batman Returns, that didn't sell their Happy Meals at McDonald's, that the mothers of scared children sent plaints because the movie was too gory and violent. We're dealing with all of that. So, what is Warner Brothers gonna do next? Well, they're gonna go the opposite way. So they hired Joe Schumacher, who is a very well accomplished director. If you see his movie, 8 millimeters, falling down, everything he's done. He's a great filmmaker. Um, and he had a take on Batman that was very different, but never forget George Schumacher, and that's what is the most interesting to me and the most important thing to think about while watching this. The real Batman Forever we shall never see, because it was, as Joel Schumacher said in interviews, in the making ofs and the documentaries about this movie and all of that. He said what his original plan was for the movie, and the studio didn't want that. He wanted darker side of Bruce Wayne. He wanted it's called, if you know what I'm talking about, it's called the Red Book edition, and the Red Book is uh, the memoir, or um, what little Bruce Wayne has to keep his thoughts in, or his intimate journal, or what what you want to call it. Uh, a journal, a Bruce Wayne's journal, that talked about the loss of his parents, that talked about his nightmares, that talked about everything. And we had, and that it shows in the movie. Every time Batman, Bruce talks about falling in the cave, every time he's at his parents' funeral and he just runs and runs and runs. I think Joel Schumacher did it well beyond what Zack Snyder did. in Batman v Superman. I think the soundtrack of Elliot Goldenthal was a daunting adventure to go in, and I wouldn't. After fucking Danny Elfman with his score, taking on a new, freshly new, pure Batman project with no reference or no to create a brand new world, create a brand new soundtrack for a new Batman, a new Bruce Wayne, a new actor was fucking ballsy. It was ridiculously hard. And I think whatever we think of the movies, Elliot Goldenthal gave us a new team that I still listen to this day. I think it's fantastic. I think it's very different, but I think it suits the character very well. So, with all that in mind, let's just go in and yeah, let's just go in. We still, I will keep my criticism for watching a movie. So I am at 13 seconds in. Warner Brothers presents with the Bat logo. And 3, 2, 1, play. And here, a Tim Burton production. So Tim Burton, it shows because it really shows because it a lot of the narrative aspects and the darkest, of course, of course, Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones are very goofy, very, and they're introducing a Robin and all these aspects. But I think Tim Burton had still a say in. And we see Batman suits up, taking all his gadgets. And of course, there I would say that no matter, and I love this Batmobile, like it or not, I played with this toy of the Batmobile for years and years and years. It was my favorite after the Tim Burton one. And here we zoom into Val Kilmer. And what just happened? I think let's dive right in with my critique. I think Val Kilmer is my favorite second Batman. I like his take right after Michael Keaton. I like his Bruce Wayne a lot. I think he may be the best Bruce Wayne we ever had because Val Kilmer is a very, very unique actors, and for all he's been through, if you've been following what he has gone through to these last years, these days of his life, it's very tragic. And if you can watch his documentary Val, I think it's on Amazon. I really recommend you to do so because it's heartbreaking but very loving documentary and a beautiful piece of art about Val Kilmer. But I've always loved Val Kilmer. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. I love it as Jim Morrison in The Doors. I mean, who can say they were Jim Morrison, Batman? Uh, I mean, I'm forgetting some, but he's been a lot of iconic characters, and I mean, he's been in Top Gun as Ice. I mean, he's been just it. He's been in Top Gun Maverick, a movie that's made $1.3 billion, and I haven't seen it yet. And I know it will be heartbreaking to see him because of his cancer. But I mean, even now, I mean, he, he is just he can find the soul. Val Kilmer's strength is he reads the script, he says, okay, that's the version of the director. That's not mine. And the best, I know I'm just talking here, but the best vision for this, I think, is The Doors. Because I've watched the Doors movie uh, almost as I much watched Batman Forever. And they're, of course, radically different movies, but Val Kilmer did the same, achieved the same on both movies. He knew how to take the script and make it his own. He knew how to play two sides of the same coin. He knew how to adapt to again, radically different director, radically different script, drastically different universe, uh, drastically different. Um, because we can take Jim Morrison in the real world and Bruce Wayne in fantasy land, but they both have some common issues, and they both have some, and they're both idyllic figures of their time. And if you watch The Doors, he embodies Jim Morrison. I don't know anything about Jim Morrison, but he embodies the soul of the character. And that's my next point. He reads the script and he says, okay, I'm gonna do it. And he finds whatever, if he's talking to the director or going through it by himself, he can always find the soul of the character he's portraying and delivering it to us with wonderful, wonderful talent. Pure. Val Kilmer is pure talent. I don't care what you think. I don't care what he, of course, the tragic turn that his life has took. I'm very sad he can't be in movies anymore because he was and he is pure talent. So let's just go and see what the theatrical version gives us. Of course, I love just to pause again. I love the soundtrack. First, I love that we get first the bombastic score, and then when he is underwater, the slow score comes. But we'll talk about this soon. And I think my favorite bat suit is the one that Val Kilmer is wearing in this movie. The cowl, I love the cowl so much. It is very the horns are just perfect, but not goofy, and it's like a mid transformation between Batman Returns and Batman and Robin. But it's still, yes, it has nipples, but it's still very, very, very menacing and very. I mean, it's clear that it's machine made and not man made, but it has lost the clunkiness of the Burton ones, and it's like more modern and more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, if I can say. And I think that the cowl with Val Kilmer's jaw and lips is fucking wonderful. So let's go. And again, I love this Batmobile. I think they still have shots in the woods. And I love, again, this Gotham that George Schumacher has created. The Dutch angles, the colors, the pulp. And I think that it's the only scene that Tommy Jones is good is this one. If they had if they had kept this tone for Two Face, it would have been a great, great, great role and a great movie. But I don't know why this first introduction, this first scene, he is very much in control. He's very charismatic, and he has the camera has the way of very hiding his ugly side from the from the normal side, and we can see that that's what's tragic about this role and about this movie, because in Batman and Batman Returns, we never got a Harvey Dent before the acid, before the disfiguration. We never got him in his mind, and we never got a taste for the role. So by then, here now, we have to jump. Um, like we have a new Batman, we have new this and new that, and a new Harvey Dent, and it's a new actor, and we were expecting Bill D. Williams, and everything is just in shambles, and so it's all Joel Schumacher trying to reassemble all these broken pieces and make a whole for a new audience with Warner Brothers that wants to make more money and more commercial. And so I'm not so on the pedestal of blaming Joel Schumacher. I blame Joel Schumacher for Batman and Robin, but not for this film. This film had a good heart in a good place, but was just mistargeted for profit's sake by Warner Brothers. Again, filming the feet. One, two. And he's very. I love kind of this. So we have Pat and Gold returning as Daisy Gordon. Oh, yeah, I love this shot. Gorgeous shot. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I'm gonna tell when I'm pausing for you guys, but because it must be not too fun to never know when I pause and when I let the film flow. I'm only at 4 minutes and 7 seconds. I just want to say, yeah, it was the best Tommy Lee Jones, aka Two Face, aka Harvey Dent role. Not role, but scene, because he was there was tension. There was how he was shaking his hand. This was how we were near his face. How we was showing him the deformed face. Of course, it's pink latex. It's ridicule, um, but it was made with very great choices by Tommy Jones. And I can't say for the life of me why he did not continue that way. And for all his critique, all for all Tommy Lee Jones' hate of Jim Carrey for being a buffoon, as we know behind the scenes. I mean, Jesus Christ, Tommy Lee Jones, did you see your take? Did you see your stupid, ignorant comedy? Your over the top bullshit? I mean, and you're gonna blame Jim Carrey in this movie for being a little over the top? I don't understand. I don't. But I like that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the main characters. Because in a movie like The Dark Knight Rises, Batman isn't the main character. So I well prefer, I would watch this movie 10 times before I watch Dark Knight Rises. On pause, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Again, the cowl and the horns, it looks so great. I like the cheekbones, naive but insightful. And I love, again, I'm pausing at 5 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes. I love, I'm watching right at the cow, and I love how we cannot recognize Val Kilmer. The cow with the square before the ears, and the cheekbones, the cheekbones and the nose are so pointy and uh, prominent, and the neck is so virile and squared, and of course it looks like he can have some movement, and it I mean, it just looks great. He is in plain sight, in plain light, and I could not tell that it's Val Kilmer. I could not tell. And I don't know what it is, but this shade of black that he had on the suit. The other suit looked a little more gray or bluish in the heavy light, but this is complete like black oil. Like it's so purely black that it's I don't know. I just love this costume, and they kept the yellow behind the bat symbol, so it's just an oval circle with the bat symbol, but behind it it's with yellow. So I love that they kept this little detail. And I mean, the nipples were a little bit there, of course, but that was to reference the Greek gods, and like Batman as a figure of some kind of godship or whatever you want to call it. So, and I love that his first banter with Nicole Kidman with Chase Meridian, which I think is a good name for a love interest. And I think, uh, who knows who is a better. Of course, you can't beat Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, but if you're gonna try, having a psychiatrist as a love interest for Batman is the best way you can go, because Batman should see a psychiatrist daily. He is fucking nuts. Will it be Bruce Wayne or Batman? He is fucking nuts. He's not a normal person. He has a lot of trauma and a lot of cerebral and mental injuries. So yeah, um, so Nicole Kidman was a good, very perfectly cast for this role. I think she works perfectly, and if you tell me, oh, she's just a sex symbol and she's just there to be attractive, and yeah, we can debate this all day long, but I like that in this first banter, they finish each other's sentences, and because Batman is very, again, Batman is a detective, and Batman is very psychologically aware, and just Dr. Chase Meridian is just the same. So they both agree on the task at hand. Because anyway, on pause at 5 minutes. And the score, boom. Batman wasn't created by Bob Kane, it was created by Bill Finger, you fuckers. Okay, so as you maybe knowing by now, I love to break down fight scenes. So he's in the elevator. Okay, so he just bursts through, kicks them all down. Okay, so he takes the elbow control with a knee in the first and a side kick on the second person. Oh, and he does a great thing. Okay, so he takes the elbow, rolls with him like jujitsu, and he'll kick him in the throat. So yeah, that's acrobatic. I wouldn't go to the floor for one person when I'm fighting four of them or five. But as Batman, he can get up on his heels quickly. And then, as we see, he gets caught in the throat. So yeah, wasn't the right move, Batman. So he gets cut out by the throat. So he has a gun that sends electrical shocks to his enemies. Uh, okay, so he throws a rope, goes a batarang rope that between the ankles, so he's down, and he does what normally you would be breaking the elbow on the shoulder, and he goes to a flip. I don't know if he broke the guy's shoulder. I assume so. And then he gets free from the one who was taken by his neck, and he has a gun that he kicks with a one kick. And here we have a Tim Burton classic enemy, which is he comes from afar and show you your knives. Just a little insight. If you have knives or a knife, don't show it, hide it. But hey, it's Batman, so. Okay, the electrical thing is fucking stupid. Not the best fight. It's a trap. And again, I love that Batman is trapped in a. Val Kilmer looks so good in the cowl and costume. And if you want to trap Batman, that's the way to do it. And we need to have this because we need to have Batman realizing the impossible. Yeah, he's kept in a safe, so. And yeah, it's a good thing. It's a thing Harvey Dent would do. He would trap them in acid, in the same acid that made him who he is. So on paper, maybe not on screen, but on paper, it's a real good idea. And I love Val Kilmer's Batman's voice. And he's already on to open the. Yeah, he's opened the safe with an earpiece. That's good. That's a good Batman thing. And of course, this is perfectly ridiculous. How could a simple grappling hook, it's like hang on the weight of this safe? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's impossible, but it's a comic book movie. So I've seen stupider things. I love the soundtrack. I love that the escape blocks the view. And again, it's a PG-13 movie. Again, it's not a Again, it was when I'm pausing here at 11:23. It wasn't. If, I mean, it was more family oriented than Batman Returns, no doubt. But it was still PG-13, and that's what I love. It's like this movie. The best way to describe it, it's like Joel Schumacher's vision fighting over Warner Brothers' vision. Because Warner Brothers' future vision for this franchise was to sell fucking toys. They had they were so lustful from their win in Batman 89. They they sold so much merchandise, so much toys, so much Happy Meals, so much everything you want. And Batman Returns was too dark for the audience. And now they have the chance to reclaim this. Yes, money, 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 money. So, and they tried. And they made, because, yeah, that's the thing that makes me sick about Hollywood. It's like it's never enough. It's like you have a great. I will fight this to this day. I think the George Macker had a great vision. You have a great cast. You have great costumes. You have great music. You have great set pieces. So why? And Joel Schumacher said this in interviews. He said Warner Brothers said make it more toyetic, and it was to bring toy companies at the front to develop the toys that would be sold before the movie even come out. So it was all a matter of cheap plastic. So it's a shame. Love this. Batman dives in the water, big explosion, like every big audience wants. And now the score. There, this digital version of Gotham reminds me very well of the animated series and Batman Beyond. So, and you can see it's purely CGI, and I like it. I like all the impossible skyscrapers. I like the statues of gods, like Atlas holding the world in his shoulders, beyond the Wayne Tower. It feels weird to review Jim Carrey's Riddler when I just spoke about Paul Dano's Riddler. I'll have to take a break here, guys. Be right back. Okay, so we're at the scene that Bruce Wayne is visiting Wayne Enterprises tower, and of course, Nigma is a big fan of him. So his boss is trying to not make them meet, but of course, Nigma is very on their heels to meet him, and he does. And I like it. I I think Jim Carrey call me crazy, but am I still recording? Yeah, okay. I think Jim Carrey and Val Kilmer had great chemistry, and I think Jim Carrey was right on the button for this version of Edward Nigma. If you're gonna watch maybe the animated series or comic books or old um, Batman lore and making into a blockbuster in 1995. I mean, that's the version of Enigma you go with. And I think that Jim Carrey, with his improvisation and his great characterization, I think was very well. I can't blame him for what I'm seeing. Exactly what's on everyone's mind. And I think that I love Bruce with the glasses, Bruce without the glasses. He really looks like Bruce Wayne. And he's trying to be he's trying to be gentle to his employees, and because I just don't like the guy, the guy who's saying like back to work Nigma, and he doesn't like him, and it's like, if you think he's not a good member of Wayne Enterprise, why don't you just fire him? And he doesn't. So anyway, Why be brutalized by an uncaring world? Again, people take this movie for granted. People say this movie is trash. Look at Bruce Wayne. I am at 15 minutes 8 seconds. He just put off his glasses to see better because he wants to take a real good look at this. And Val Kilmer looks so fucking good as Bruce Wayne. He's and Batman. He is. I think, you know what, guys? I'm gonna go crazy and say, of course, Michael Keaton is number one. No one will dethrone him. And but Val Kilmer is fucking damn close. I mean, his voice pattern, his his looks, his everything, his physical charisma, his physical emotions, and he's just like, and yes, and for Enigma, yeah, like you said, while be brutalized by a uncaring world. So you have to take this phrase and throw back what it really means. Why be brutalized by an uncaring world? If you told me, hey, you have to write a child friendly Batman sequel with a new cast and a Riddler, I would never have come to this sentence. It's like it 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 deserves its PG-13. So yeah, pay attention to the words. And again, I don't understand this. This should have worked better. I understand that he said, um, because I like that Bruce Wayne is open to it. He said, I'm gonna need full schematics. Call my assistant Barbara. She'll set a rendezvous. We'll talk about it. And Riddler is just, no, I need an answer now. It's like, dude, they have to see what you're doing. You can't just throw something in the air, and so that's a fault. That's a glaring that's a glaring script issue that shouldn't. I mean, I know he's gonna be the Riddler. He's gonna be the antagonist, and we have to go through these steps. But they had such a good beginning. I mean, it's like that's why I like this Bruce Wayne. It's like he let it. nobody would ever give him a chance. And Bruce gave him a chance, and he said, "That's not good enough for me." He said, "Well, fuck you." Yeah, you are supposed to understand, but he understood. He just told you what to do. Yeah, that's the comic book. I mean, who built this? We won't go there. But I love it. As a child, I loved it. It's like, it's crazy, but. And the score that's ringing out, it's so damn good. The visuals and the city and Bat Signal looks perfect. Misty in the sky. And yeah, oh boy. Oh boy. Again, I can't believe how long. I have to take another break. I'm sorry. Yes, forever. Again, what are my thoughts on Nicole Kidman? Um, I think she did far and beyond what was asked of her, because she was. When you say Batman's a sex symbol, no, no. Val Kilmer is very rigid and intellectual and very insightful Batman. Chase Meridian is just, uh, but it fits because I will say later, in these first scenes, like in Two Face first scenes, you it's just it's a chiseled monument of the whole thing. But Chase Meridian, I mean, she's a psychiatrist that is. It's like it's like being Joel Schumacher. Put your feet in Joel Schumacher's shoes and tell yourself, okay, the script is greenlit. What can we do? So what do I tell Nicole Kidman to do? And Nicole Kidman, he told her, well, you're a psychiatrist that is obsessed with Batman and obsessed psychologically, but most of all, sexually. And that's why I don't think this movie is for kids either. Excuse me. because it's like compare it to Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was very sensual and at a certain point sexual, but not um, it was more subtle than this. And here Chase Meridian just saying like rip my dress and fuck me right here right now. Yeah, okay, now I am 35 years old. I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if I was a woman and if I was obsessed by the mind and the brain of a guy like Batman, maybe I would develop a dependence. Like and she has met him one time, and he has made quite the impression on her because of their banter. So now that she's saying, "Look, just she has the bat symbol," and just like, "Look, I have sexual attraction." If we're talking true here, guys, hey, why not? We're all adults here, I hope. Um, of course, Batman's got the ridiculous one-liner, probably trailer shots, but I I don't see the problem here. Again, for this movie specifically, so you have to give me more than that for me to get off the train. Batman doesn't like it. It's like he says it right through. The bat symbol is not a beeper. I'm not at your service. I mean, you made me waste my time. And if you want to try, if you want a quick hookup, if you want to um, attend to your sexual needs, well, try a fireman or something else. You know, you're good looking enough. You'll get him. She undresses herself. So. We all love the Batman jumping down a roof. And I love this phrase. He just jumps from 10 from a rooftop, lands in the Batmobile, and just says, "Women." I love it since I'm a kid. I love this line. I mean, it's just fucking nuts. I can't believe we're only 20 minutes in, and I have to take another break. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry this took so long. So Enigma is working in his lair, and of course, his boss is. I love, and again, so I'm pausing again at 20 minutes 32 seconds. Again, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey the master. Jim Carrey, I mean, get Ace Ventura, The Mask, and you're hiring him to play the Riddler in a child friendly Batman sequel. He's perfect. He does the job perfectly. What else do you want him to do? He is improvising, he is mad, he is cinematic, he is idyllic, he, he, he crosses all the question marks. He's perfect. I don't know, and with the red hair, and when we see him later in public, when he's richer and he's in a good suits and charismatic and more beautiful with women at his arms. And I mean, again, I just have the animated series in my mind, and this, of course, is not. It will never be as good as the animated series, but it's it's great. Of course, this sequence is absolutely ridiculous. Connecting to the TV, and that's all the child-friendly stuff that Jim Carrey does his job perfectly. Riddle me this. And I love it because he always saying is, I'm reporting you to the authorities and the police and the dashboard and the FCC and the everything. And Ningma is just dancing and bringing it. Just he has him strapped, and it's just I absorb your IQ. What is Riddler if not someone who wants the peak of human intelligence? The Riddler is someone who wants to be smartest than everyone. smarter than everyone else. That's it. That's why he's such a great villain for Batman, because Batman's IQ is a very difficult thing to match. But the Riddler can. So, when the Riddler do something crazy, Batman has a fight to go through. And it's somber here. It's a, you're fired, you're fired, and the music slows down. And Jim Carrey is like, oh, I don't think so. It's like it's very somber. It's little touches. It's here and there, but you can see the wheels turning behind the movie, and that want to bring us more scenes like that. But the studio constantly says, toys, 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 family, 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 blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you can never breathe. And right there, he kills his boss. It's fucking dark. Even if it's funny how he kills him. And I love that he's. And again, it's very creepy. Him. Again, I love that. Who in 1995 would go and he's just completely bumped and stopped by Bruce Wayne saying one little sentence: your work raises too many questions. And he cannot get it out of his mind, literally. It's like he's walking in. My work raises too many questions, Mr. Wayne. Why don't someone put you in your place? And he blocks out the camera, so you know he's gonna do something with the camera feed, because of course the cameras just record him killing his boss, so he has to do something. But he's the Riddler, is Enigma. He can do something about it. He can manipulate the footage. So I mean, it's all little things, again, little things. But uh, when have we seen a villain manipulate camera footage? The Dark Knight trilogy? Hmm? The so popular Christopher Nolan series? Same. Same, same, same. Don't tell me because Riddler, and he just killed somebody. So, what's darker? I don't see the difference. He just did it, and he's gonna manipulate the footage of the camera to make him. I know the suicide letter is a little goofy. I love this shot. I love this shot. Bruce Wayne with his black uh, robe and his hair and his look. His look, his eyes are so fucking piercing. piercing through the skin. And with Alfred, it's crazy good. And of course, yeah, definitely a suicide. The alter. We don't know how Nigma can alter, can CGI the suicide of someone. That's never explained, but of course, it's a comic book movie. It could have been done better. It could have been done a lot of ways better, but and Jim Gordon being so stupid as right, definitely a suicide. It's like, yeah, right. But I love, of course, in this movie you have to take on what you can take and leave on what you can not defend. And I cannot defend this scene. It's stupid, but again, Val Kilmer always brings a great presence, and he brings it every time. And I love that he finds the first riddle. Jesus Christ, only 27 minutes in. Like I said, people, this movie is just full of little nuggets of gold that you have to really pinpoint into and take the time to appreciate, because if you just drink a couple beers and watch it, you'll find it ridiculous and this and that. But if you converge your mind again, like, I think Val Kilmer kills me. He looks so great. He's so perfect for Batman. I just wished if Val Kilmer could have been Batman and not Michael Keaton. I don't. Michael Keaton will always be the Batman, but Val Kilmer brought everything on. I will say it to my dying bed, and I will end the first part of Batman Forever here. An hour 16. Sorry, guys. I said it was a guilty pleasure, and I really like this movie. I think it's very underrated. Um, as you sure have understood by now. But yeah, so I will. I'm very curious of what people think about this, because there are a lot of adult themes here, and they can be. I think that's the problem with this movie. The problem and the solution. I think that a lot of themes can be taken for childish, or a lot of the same themes can be taken from uh, the very severity of adulthood and the serious nature of the lore, and uh, the graphic, again, just the graphic themes, the things that what it confronts us with, what Joel Schumacher was trying to confront us with. And he had the best actors to do it, he had the budget, he had the vision. So, but of course, I'm just gonna say it here, eventually he fails. Joel Schumacher failed. But that doesn't mean that he didn't have any good. And I will review the I will pin it to my YouTube channel. I will review the clips from the unreleased Red Book edition, because that's where the real gems come from. And I think that with a little bit of alteration, with a little bit different direction, and with a smoother with a smoother script from the Red Book edition, and a more the more serious turn that Joe Schumacher had in mind with Val Kilmer. I think it would be a completely different movie that would be worthy of Batman 3, and to follow Batman Returns, and with a different cast and team of people. So anyway, that's gonna do it for part one. And again, guilty pleasure. If you like this, cool. If you hate it, I understand why. I'm just caught in the middle. So take care, and we'll see you soon.